since you've opened your doors to mass immigration. Okay, let's just check knife crime, London. It's like a war zone.
It's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
Ladies and gentlemen, you know what time it is. It's your boy again, Shady, one and only. And today, guys, we are back again. We are very, very back, guys. Today, guys, we are going to touch on a very important topic. Is London safe? All right. A lot of people have asked me that saying, Shady, since you've moved to London, how safe has it been for you? I mean, I'm like, when I lived in Nigeria, it was kind of safe, but it got really dangerous. Very dangerous indeed, like lots of kidnappings and crazy things happening. So compared to Nigeria, definitely London is safe. But in general terms of safety, well, if I say London is safe, people will be like, oh, how about what we see on the news, the stabbings, the chaotic protests, people challenging the police, lots of grooming gangs here and there. So basically what I want to say is London can be safer than it is right now. Definitely can be much safer. Okay, what I think is if each community hold their people responsible for the crimes that are associated with them, all right, they can police them and crack down on them, and then definitely it's going to be much better, because London is made up of very many communities. A lot of foreigners assume that London is a very British city, very English. I'll tell you, there are many Brits here, many British people here in London that are not really British. They've got the passport, they've got the accent, but they're not loyal. They are not British. If you ask a lot of people, what country are you from? This person will say, oh, I'm from country A. But I'm like, but you're British. They're like, yeah, I was born here, but I'm from country A. And some people are like, I'm from country B, from country C. Different people just say different countries. Nobody wants to say we are British, except when they need the country. For example, they travel to a foreign country and probably get into trouble. Then they'll be like, oh yeah, I'm British. Then they just whip out the British passport, and then the whole of Great Britain and the United Kingdom generally take the blame for that. All right. One question I feel like asking people is, if war breaks out right now in the UK, are you gonna stay, fight for the country, or are you gonna go back to your country B? You know what I mean? Sometimes, I just think some very crazy thoughts that the problems being faced in this country, I mean, there might be an easy solution to it. The government can just say, if you have dual nationalities, renounce one. If you're British, then you're British and you stay. If you're not British, then you have to apply for a visa and stay. Oh my God, it's gonna go really crazy. Anyway, to answer the question of if London is safe, generally, London has been safe for me, all right? You just have to be very sensible, all right? You have to be careful. You have to know where to go to, where not to go to at certain times. You have to avoid certain places. You just have to be street smart, all right? I wish it wasn't like that, but I mean, no city in the whole world, you can never find a city that's 100% safe. I don't think that is possible. That's going to be like a utopia. But anyway, we're going to check out this video by the expert. It says, is London safe? Here is what the media isn't telling you. So let's jump on that video right away and see what they've got to say. Maybe they've got different views. I don't know. Let's see.
Is London as safe as the statistics suggest? Today we will dive into the city's crime rates, violence landscape, and you will discover 3 places that might shock you.
Okay, I'm going to test my knowledge. Okay, when he speaks, we're going to find out if what he's saying would surprise me, if I find them as news, or maybe I know already.
A friend was asking me about the safety of São Paulo, a big city in Brazil where I used to live. I told him that in São Paulo crime isn't the same everywhere. Some parts are as safe as places in Europe, but others are quite dangerous.
Crazy cartels
People
in Brazil.
might think all cities are like this, but they are not. For example, in Warsaw, Poland, where I live now, there is no part of the city that is considered violent.
I must say, like, what Poland have done is amazing. Like, their safety ratings, I believe, has to be one of the highest for Europe.
But London in this aspect is less like Warsaw and more like São Paulo. Recently, safe parts of London got even safer, and the risk areas got more dangerous. Let's first talk about general numbers. If you compare London with cities like Chicago, Rio de Janeiro, or Cape Town, then London would seem safe to you. But if you compare it to other European cities, it's a bit different. Here is how London stacks up in terms of violent crimes per 1,000 people versus some famous capitals in the European Union. Budapest, Hungary, 3.1 violent crimes per 1,000 people per year. Warsaw, Poland, 3.3 violent crimes per 1,000 people per year. Vienna, in Austria, 3.4. Bucharest, Romania, 3.5. Rome, Italy, 5.2 violent crimes per 1,000 people per year. Madrid, Spain, 5.3. Berlin, Germany, 5.5. But what about London?
Okay.
Drum roll. In London, UK,
Suspense.
the violent crime rate per 1,000 people is 17.6.
A whole whooping 17. Wait, let's check that out. Let's check that out. So basically, the crime rate in the United Kingdom was 90.7 per 1,000 people in 2023 to 2024. 90. It's gone really, really high. It's skyrocketed.
Now you may have noticed that the data I showed you is from 2020. However, since 2020, things have got worse. The violent crime
Indeed.
rate in London is more than 5 times the number of Warsaw or Budapest. It's also more than 3 times the violent crime rate of Rome or Madrid. And what are those violent crimes?
Knife
In
crime.
general, they are offenses that involve the use of threat or physical force against another person, kidnapping, robbery, homicide, etc. You likely never got shot in London, but we are still talking about a big city with over 1,000 cases of knife crime per month.
It's crazy.
Why?
Well, let's see. It's actually always on the news. Let's just check knife crime. Okay, let's just check knife crime London. So if you type knife crime London, enter. Look at this. Look at this. It just keeps coming. Look. It's like a war zone. It's almost like a war zone. That is so insane.
While anyone can stay safe in London, the English capital is more violent than other popular European cities, and street crime is considerable in some areas. Now let's discover these places where it's more likely to be assaulted, harassed, or stabbed.
You're gonna say Tower Hamlets. You're gonna say East London. Then used to be Brixton before. Then probably some parts of Croydon. Then Hackney.
Our Hamlets.
Yeah.
Police recorded violent and sexual crimes per 1,000 residents, 35.07 per year. This is a violent crime rate higher than Rio de Janeiro in Brazil, with 34.8 per 1,000 people.
Higher than Rio de
Tower
Janeiro.
Hamlets is a borough in East London that is famous for the Brick Lane Market. It's also a borough with an extraordinary number of cases of domestic violence, and almost 70% of all victims are female. There are also issues with street violence, with at least 8 gangs active in the area. While there is no single explanation for this trend, there are several factors that may contribute to the higher rate of violent crime in this area. Tower Hamlets has a relatively young population with a proportion of people aged 25 to 34. The borough has one of the lowest proportions of residents above 65 years old in the entire country, only 5.6%.
Interesting.
There have been reports of tension and conflict between different ethnic and religious groups in the borough, especially involving Somali communities.
Was that were they saying no to housing racism?
Religious groups in the borough, especially involving Somali communities. Tower Hamlets is one of the most diverse boroughs in England, with 60.8% of all residents are considered part of minority groups.
60%.
Here is how a former resident of Tower
60% are of minority groups. So what happened to the locals? Did they move out, or was it that the minority groups just overpopulated? Just were just dropping litter, dropping kids and took over? Or this is crazy. Mass migration. Yes, mass immigration. I would say mass immigration. That is something that, in my opinion, even though I'm an immigrant, all right, but in my opinion, I really, really strongly think it needs to be controlled. Okay, I mean, for the good of all, for the good of the immigrants that are here, for the good of the immigrants that are yet to come, all right, and for the good of the locals, for the good of the culture, to preserve the way, I think it needs to be controlled some more. That's my opinion as a Nigerian, but let's see.
Minority groups. Here is how a former resident of Tower Hamlets described the place. I lived in Tower Hamlets all my life. I used to live in Brownlee Mall, an area of the neighborhood, but there were gang wars and stabbings going on literally every day. I saw kids selling drugs and riding on mopeds.
Yeah, that's very common in that area. Very, very common. Kids on their bikes and then selling drugs. It's very common.
Creating noise almost 24/7.
They were
Even
loud
when I
as well.
used to go shopping, I used to see boys chasing people with very big knives. Now I live in Kennington, which is a very quiet place. End quote. Now let's talk about another relatively dangerous area, but for different reasons. Greenwich. Police recorded violent and sexual crimes per 1,000 residents, 36.49 per year. Greenwich is one of the nightlife hotspots of London. It has some infamous parts that get quite raw during the night. There are reports of gang activity in some parts of the borough which may engage in drug trafficking, robbery, and other forms of violence. The borough even resorted to offering taxpayer money for kids so they would not be recruited by gangs.
See how much it's costing the whole the city so much to keep kids away from gang violence. There must be another solution to this. There must be another solution to this. Yeah, we just need to like put heads together, work together with the local communities. But there must be a solution to this. At the end of this video, we're going to talk a bit more.
Greenwich is also located near other areas of London that have high levels of crime and violence, such as Lewisham and Deptford.
Imagine being killed in your own garden. Greenwich stabbing sees women killed in her own garden in London knife crime epidemic. You are in your own garden, in the safety of your house.
That have high levels of crime and violence, such as Lewisham and Deptford. This proximity can make it easier for criminal activity to spread into Greenwich. Then there is Barking and Dagenham. Police recorded violent sexual crimes per 1,000 residents, 37 per year. The violence rate in Barking and Dagenham skyrocketed in recent years. From 2016 to 2022, violent crimes increased almost 30%. Together with the previously mentioned borough of Tower Hamlets, Barking and Dagenham is one of the most diverse districts in London. 69% of the population has a non-British background.
You know, I don't know. I just think we need to do better for our communities. We just need to do better. We need to. So basically, we that are here, we are more like, how should I say it now? Let me say the ambassadors for our communities, and we just need to think about how it's going to look. Because, for instance, I commit a crime now. The first thing that I'll be called is a cultural enricher. They'll be like, oh, yeah, of course, it's the usual suspect, because a lot of people like me, I mean, there are a lot of other people too, for Asians, also white people that commit these crimes. But I feel like if somebody travels to a different country, you want to like promote a very good image of your own country, of your own race. I mean, that's me. Like, I try to promote a positive picture of where I'm from. Okay, try to show people that, look, where I'm from, we might not be doing very well economically, all right, but at least we've got integrity, you know, we've got good character, good morals. Try to, you know, create a good image of ourselves. Yes, I know that, okay, back in the day and even presently, when it comes to the workforce, we're a bit disadvantaged. We have to like work extra hard, do extra to get promoted. So some people don't want to go through that and they want to choose the easy way out. Okay, but I don't know, I just want to encourage, encourage my people. Like, we can definitely do better. It's not easy. Like, a lot of times you see some people looking at like they're accomplished. People see me going out in my suit. I go work. I work hard. I do this, and they're like, oh, he had life easy. No, it's not easy. But we're doing it. All right, we're doing it. So I just think that we need to also think about how, our race is portrayed in the media, and do better to change the whole narrative.
Organized criminal gangs of young males are partially responsible for rampant crime according to many of the residents. In only 3 years, gangs committed over 200 crimes, from kidnapping to murders. Of course, there are also safe parts in London.
Yeah.
Places like Bexley and Richmond upon Thames have crime indicators comparable to the safest capitals in Europe. If you are visiting London, here are some other tips that will be extremely helpful for you to stay safe. First, use 24/7 luggage store services like Radco Storage to avoid carrying bags around the city and risk them being stolen. Pre-book airport transfers through vetted companies like GetTransfer to avoid taxi scams from Gatwick, Luton, or even Heathrow Airport. Third, and this is a good one, hire reputable local guides from platforms like Viator for safe, insightful walking tours.
Nice way to nice way to include some advertisements.
And this also saves a lot of time because London is a huge city. The link for all these services I mentioned can be found in the description.
Okay, very interesting video. He talked about Lewisham as well. He didn't really talk about Peckham, but Lewisham, oh my. Peckham, like the stories I heard even before I moved here, I was told to avoid certain areas. Okay, so I had like a little guidance before arriving here, because I asked for advice. People mentioned a few things to me, and when I arrived, a few friends I made here also advised me on what to do, where to go, the kind of crowds not to hang out with, just to be safe. Okay, but I would say I think there's more that can be done. Okay, I feel maybe the government just needs to work with these communities. Since you've opened your doors to migration, mass immigration, okay, you need to find a way to make sure people integrate properly, because bringing in people for cheap labor, without actually vetting them properly, without checking them properly, without giving them time to assimilate, okay, without ensuring they learn the language, without ensuring they become a part of the culture, it's definitely going to create all of these different hotspots. And then if there are no jobs, people will just definitely resort to the fast ways, to make money. And also, I think each community needs to take responsibility for their own kind of people. Okay, of course they will say, oh, we are all British, we're all British, treat us equally like British people. Yes, we should all be treated equally like British people, but also I think we should, check our communities, and it all boils down to the families. Like, if you can take it down to the family level, so parents take full on responsibilities for their children to ensure their children are on the straight path, it's definitely gonna help. Okay, and this mass immigration, this mass illegal immigration, to be honest, the UK needs to check that. They need to check that. Honestly, they need to check that. There are many countries that will not allow it. Even in Africa, they will not even allow illegal immigrants to come in. Yeah. Okay, imagine this place. So, overall, for you to be safe in London, yeah, you just have to be sensible. It's not like London is a war zone. Earlier I said it's like a war zone, but no, it's not like London is like a war zone. Okay, it's just that there are some areas that are not safe. At a certain time, it's just wiser being at home, or if you can't avoid it, make sure you're with someone. You're never alone. Okay, and make sure you're on well-lit areas. Avoid getting to the parks. Okay, just be very careful. That's it. But yeah, London has been safe for me, for many people that I know. Okay, that's because we are street smart. You have to be smart and wise. You know what I mean? Anyways, being your boy, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna catch you in the next one. Peace.